Video, I'm going to be showing you how to use our budget calculator to make sure your Google Ads account stays on budget throughout the entire month. It'll auto calculate the adjustments you need to make and how on target or off target you are based on your budget and your current monthly spend. So, over here are the only ones columns that you'll need to change. All these other ones are calculated automatically. If you were doing checks from multiple accounts, the only things that are going to change are over here because obviously the day of the month is going to stay the same, and the days in that month are going to stay the same as well. So, for example, we're going to do this for the month of April. It has 30 days in it. We're going to pretend that today is the 14th of April, and then we will say that we have been spending, let's say, $1,700 up until now. So what you'll see here is all these numbers are automatically changing. And essentially, if this percentage of ad spend, this just shows you the percentage of ad spend that you spent based on your current spend versus what you are trying to spend by that day in the month. So you're 31% over budget by the 14th. You're not actually 31% over the $3,000 budget. But essentially, if this number is greater than 105 or less than 95, you need to go in and implement this recommended daily budget change inside Google Ads. And the way you do that is by going into the campaign section. You're going to want to be just in the ones that are enabled. And then you would essentially go in and change the budgets of each of the running accounts accordingly. So, for example, if one campaign was eating up, say, 80% of the budget, you would continue to put in 80% of the budget of the new recommended daily budget. So, for example, essentially just 80% of 70, that's going to be around 56. This is not an exact science. It can be a little bit imprecise. So essentially, we would just come over here, click edit, and then we would change this to 56 and click save. And then you would come down here and you would essentially do this math for all of the campaigns in the account. If you have trouble calculating that out, maybe Google Ads isn't for you, but essentially just add up all of the budget in the total account. So, for example, you get $15 a day to figure out what percentage each campaign is eating up. This campaign is eating up 33%. It's 15, or it's 5 divided by 15. That's 33%. 10 divided by 15. That's 66%. And then you would just multiply 66% by this number right here, and that would automatically calculate what that new change should be for the account. Keep in mind, if this percent budget is over or under 20%, or if it's less than negative 20% or greater than 20%, you need to reach out to your account manager before implementing those changes, because that's a much larger budget change that could affect the performance of the account on a bigger scale. So keep that in mind when you're doing those changes. Another thing is, if it's your first check of the month, you're typically checking these twice a week. If it's your first check of that given month, you just need to make sure that it's set to your daily budget that you have set for that month. So, for example, if your monthly budget is $3,000, you just need to set your budget per day to $100 per day, and that's just for your first check in that given month. And then for your last check of the month, no matter where the ad spend is out, you just need to make you don't need to make budget changes. You just need to report this ad spend percent to your account manager so they can review how the account's been stacking up and how the budget pacing has been going. Because if you're doing this on a regular basis, this by the end of the month, you should be at close enough to 100%, unless you just kind of took over the account like it says here. If the account's less than 30 days old, just report the ad spend to the account manager. You don't need to make those budget changes because it's still fluctuating a lot. There's not enough data in the account for this budget calculator to work exactly as you would like it to. So, I believe that should cover it. If there are any questions, please reach out. Happy to clarify to make this easier for you. I think the only issue that you may run into is that what percent of this budget goes towards each campaign, but just use whatever ratios are already in the account, just to apply those appropriate ratios to the recommended daily budget. To make the math easier, I just went ahead and created a little formula down here so that way you don't have to figure out what the new daily campaign budget should be per campaign. So all you're going to need to do in order to use this is come into campaigns. You're going to get this budget. So if we're trying to change this budget, we're going to get it. And so put in $10 into the campaign budget, and then we're going to scroll down and look at the current account budget. Make sure that it's only campaign status to enabled, and we are in the all campaigns. And then you're going to put in 15 right here, and it will automatically calculate what you should change that specific campaign's budget to. I recommend rounding to the nearest dollar, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. And so that will quickly calculate the change that you can make to each campaign. And so to figure out what we're going to change this one to, we're going to come back up. We'll change this to 5. This number can stay the same, and it automatically calculates what we need to change that campaign's new daily budget to. So that should clear up any issues there may have been from previous in the video.